And we are live. That was real quick. That went live real quick. I mean, I
Would you
think
say it went 0 to 100 real quick, or
I would say that it did that. I think Google Plus needs to work on that and more of a consistency because sometimes it goes real quick. Other times it's like 2 days later and it's like, oh, let's go live now. It's weird. It's weird. But anyway, we back podcast episode 7. 7. You could say 7 or you could say 7. I say 7. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Because we got other stuff to do today, like the No Mercy. There's no mercy, not a little bit, not none,
no
none.
mercy? I said I got no mercy for your soul. And that was a song they used like in, what was it, 2007, I think. I like that one. I got that one on DVD. So every time I hear No Mercy, I'm like, no mercy. And I don't know the words, so I'm just making them up right now. So
I
I just know it's
apologize.
that. No
I
mercy.
apologize for DJ.
Said I got no mercy on your soul.
Anyway, let's jump into the news and the rumors. So first of all, Double E possibly is bringing back Starcade. Unfortunately, not as an actual pay-per-view, as a special, which sucks. So dumb. And there's rumors that also in this that apparently Cody Rhodes has been invited to be on Starcade. So it's not going to happen. But DJ, thoughts on Starcade coming back?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I think we have all said and felt like it was weird that WWE has had the rights to use WCW pay-per-views and they had never have, especially some of the really cool ones, like maybe a Halloween Havoc or Bash at the Beach more specifically is another one that I know we've really liked. And now, with now using Starcade, I mean, they've just started to use them now with this new brand extension. So I think that's the one thing about the brand extension too, with having so many pay-per-views, it is a cause for them to use more pay-per-views, to use basically they're forced to use more pay-per-views, so they have to come up with different names. So now I think they're just kind of forced to use some of the WCW pay-per-views. But I don't know. I'm definitely excited that it's coming back. I wish it was coming back as a pay-per-view, just because I would love to see it as a pay-per-view again, just personally. Uh, but and I feel like I wish they would do more with these live specials. They have these live specials, but they don't ever really do anything with them, which is weird.
See, and I don't necessarily think.
And I don't. Sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think they necessarily need more pay-per-views. We've complained a lot about how many pay-per-views they end up having. So I don't think they necessarily need new ones, but they could take away the less popular ones and bring back like a Starcade or bring back Halloween.
That's what I was thinking. And two, I feel like I wish they made these live specials into something, because I think like if a live special like just on the network or whatever is just basically a pay-per-view that wasn't highly promoted, then like why would I really want to watch it if I'm looking for something different on the network? Like maybe even like a shortened version of a pay-per-view or something. Like I feel like they have these live specials, but I don't think they use them correctly.
Yeah. Anyway, then we have WWE is apparently planning a possible tag team Hell in a Cell match between the New Day and the Usos, which is a great idea. Like on paper, a tag team Hell in a Cell match sounds awesome. I just don't want it to be the New Day and the Usos because we've seen them like 382,000 times in the past 2 months. Stop it. Just stop it. We say this all the time that they overexpose us to the same people over and over again in feuds, and they need to. I don't have a problem with them doing the Hell in a Cell match, just not necessarily the New Day and the Usos. But DJ, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I think it's one of those situations, like you said, basically where we've seen so many matches between these two teams that I think the Hell in a Cell will freshen it up a little bit and kind of give it a different twist. But I think, I guess, I don't know. I think the biggest issue right now is that we're seeing the same matches over and over and over again, and at this point, every single week. So, like, I think it may have even been better for it to be, the New Day or the Usos versus someone else, versus maybe an up and coming tag team, or maybe a new faction or something like that. Just because, like you said, we've seen these teams so much against each other every single week. I mean, like we said last week, the only thing we don't really get to see every week, and it's actually been a good thing, is Brock Lesnar versus, for example, Braun Strowman, or Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, or Brock Lesnar versus whoever he's feuding with at the time, Samoa Joe. Like, that's been the best part about Brock Lesnar being gone, is that we're not force fed the fact that, this is a match that's coming on the pay-per-view. Why don't you get to see it 8 times before the pay-per-view happens?
Yeah. See, and I was just thinking about it now. What they should have done is kept the fashion files going and have it be whoever was attacking Breezango against them in Hell in a Cell.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they never really did anything with that.
Yeah, they kind of just stopped it out of nowhere. But I think that would have been cool.
Like, for real, they could have had it be, like, if they wanted to do a heel versus a face dynamic, they could have had it be the Usos, then have the Usos versus the Fashion Police for the titles.
Yeah.
Like, it would have made sense.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we got Jim Cornette gone from GFW, partially because they're having Bound for Glory in Canada, and because of an incident in 2010 where Cornette was stopped at the border, and authorities ran his records, I guess, and discovered a ton of assault charges, mostly from the 80s and 90s, from bar fights with fans. He is no longer allowed in Canada. So that's kind of an issue when you work for a company that's doing a show, your biggest show in Canada, and you can't be at the show. So he's apparently gone from GFW now. DJ.
I mean, I don't know. To me, it's dumb, and I question Jim Cornette coming back from the very beginning, realistically, because I think, both of us said all the crap he said about GFW, and now he's gonna come back and work for them like he's, just as happy as he can be. And this is one of those situations where, like, that's the one thing I can't right now that I can think of right off the top of my head that I cannot stand about GFW, and I don't think it's necessarily GFW's fault. It's the people that are brought in. It sucks that they have people come in for 2 seconds and then they leave. They come in for 2 weeks and then they leave. Or they come in for this limited period of time. They're in the middle of a storyline and then they leave. At worst, GFW needs to have some sort of structure in their contracts that said you can't just randomly leave when you want to. If you want to leave, you put in a, like anybody else does, you put in a freaking notice. And I know that may sound weird, but there still has to be some sort of order. Even with WWE, if you ask for your release, they're not. If you're in a storyline, they're not going to give it to you. Or if you're in a storyline, they're going to say, finish out the storyline, then you can go. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with TNA is the structure. Is there's no one sitting there saying you're gonna finish this storyline or basically be blackballed because you deserve to be blackballed. So I definitely think it's dumb and I hate it, and it's his fault for being kicked out of Canada. But, like, you can't blame, and I think too from his perspective, even if he can't be at the show, he can't blame him to go to Canada. Like, realistically, GFW has one of the best international fan bases that we've seen from a company that's been going out of business for 16 years. So, like, I don't understand why he's so mad that they're going to, I understand that he can't be there, but you can't be mad at the company for going to Canada just because you can't go. That's where a lot of their fan base is. And the funny part is, I think GFW's international fan base is better than their American fan base, and if they build off their international fan base and then kind of reel the American fan base back in, they'll be fine.
Yeah. And the next news story, Paige is apparently cleared to return and was at the Performance Center, I think earlier in the week or last week. And rumors are that she may be returning as a free agent like John Cena, so she can float between Raw and SmackDown, which I think is interesting. She's not necessarily a big face of the company like John Cena, but I think the fans love her enough and have been waiting for her to come back and hoping that she comes back, that it's enough that her being a free agent makes sense, so you can both see her on Raw or SmackDown if she does come back. But DJ, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited with this. I want to see kind of how this plays out. It's been so long since we've seen Paige. I think we've all kind of given up on a Paige return with everything we've seen and the reports we've seen and her relationship, her personal stuff that's going on. Just overall, like, I think we've all kind of just maybe given up on a Paige return. It's definitely exciting that she's being able to come back and she didn't basically blackball herself and get herself thrown out of the company by being ridiculous or being dumb. But I don't know. I'm definitely excited. I like the fact that she's kind of a free agent. I think that's kind of cool for her. Just because, there's no women right now that is a free agent. There's no women that are free agents right now. So it'll kind of bring a different twist to the women's division. So I'm definitely excited. I'm glad that she's cleared to come back. It's about doggone time. She's been out for freaking ever. So.
Yeah. Then we got two more news stories. Luke Harper reportedly is being repackaged with a new look. Haven't heard anything specifically on his repackaging or what his new look might be, but that's definitely something interesting. I'm curious what they would do with him, just because I don't know. I don't know what you could do with him to kind of change him up. But DJ?
Yeah, it's definitely quite interesting because, we haven't seen Luke Harper be anything but the Wyatt family Luke Harper. So it's one of those situations where you're like, well, what? I wonder what this repackaging is going to be, and will they actually push him? Because we've seen Luke Harper more so than Eric Rowan, unfortunately, be pushed. Be pushed in a pretty decent, consistent manner when it comes to the mid card, at least with the IC title and going after the IC title. So I want to see what they do with this, because it's definitely like, what in the world would they do? Like, you've seen somebody in a certain way for so long, so you're thinking, I wonder what it would be like if he was a different character. I wonder what character would make sense for him.
I mean, even before he came to WWE in the Indies, this was basically him. Like, he would wear the jeans and the wife beater and had the beard. So even from like the Indies, nothing has really changed with his appearance at all or his character. So it's like, what would they change him to? It definitely makes me curious about that. Our final news story for today, before we move on to top 5 botches / funny moments. This one I wanted to personally put in. What Culture Wrestling's Adam Blampier, Adam Pacitti, King Ross, and Sam Driver and Jack King are all leaving What Culture in the coming weeks to pursue other projects. I put this on here because they are a very big channel in the sort of YouTube wrestling community. So big that they actually, made their own wrestling promotion, What Culture Pro Wrestling. And I know a lot of people don't like them. Some people, hate them, whatever. but I personally watch them all the time. You know, we've gotten ideas from them that we've kind of adapted for ourselves too. I think they're definitely a big channel. And to lose like 5 guys, obviously, you know, they're going to do other projects, so hopefully we'll still see them. But you know, that's definitely a big change for them. But any thoughts on that, DJ? I don't know if you ever
Yeah,
watched any
yeah,
of that.
I do. I love What Culture. I get on them about their thoughts on TNA sometime, but I, I, I do enjoy watching What Culture. I watch it all the time. I think those 5 guys are basically like the glue to What Culture Wrestling. Like they are the faces of What Culture Wrestling, and you can even add in Simon as well. So, even though Simon's not leaving, but still, um, you know, he's been a guy that I feel like has been on pretty much everything What Culture. Uh, and not to say they can't be replaced, because obviously they can. But I think there's a certain fandom that people have drawn themselves to with these 5 individuals, especially King Ross, Pacitti, Blampier, and Jack the Jobber. But I definitely, I'm interested to see what they do outside of What Culture. Do they start their own thing? Do they start their own kind of channel? Start their own podcast? Start like I'm sure it'll be wrestling related. Like I can almost guarantee that it'll be wrestling related. So I kind of wonder what they're gonna do, and I wonder what's gonna happen to Culture Pro Wrestling as well. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it went out, if they just kind of stopped doing it. And the only reason I'm saying that is I feel like there's a possibility that uh you know, you can't make money off of it from YouTube anyway. So What Culture doesn't feel like it's really benefiting them, and they'll just scrap it. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what Culture does, and I'm also intrigued because I feel like eventually the reasoning will come out for why they left. Because it's weird that all 5 of them left at the same time. Like all 5 of them left at the same time for no really apparent reason. We don't really know what the reason is. So I'm definitely intrigued, I think.
Yeah, I see. I personally, I don't think they'll do it. Anything will happen to What Culture Pro Wrestling. I mean, it's blown up since its debut. There's been so many huge indie stars that have, you know, performed there. I mean, even former WWE stars have, you know, wrestled there, and they just finished up their Pro Wrestling World Cup. So I don't think anything will happen to that. I think that'll still go on, but it'll be definitely a weird transition for the channel itself to, you know, new hosts and things like that. Because like you said, you know, both of the Adams, Ross, and Jack are such staples on the channel for different things. To change it's going to be weird. But I think it'll definitely it'll still be okay. Um, I mean, if they want, they can always come on the Instant Classic Wrestling podcast. I mean,
You
we
know,
got room. We got, you know, we got the room for the extra peoples. It's cool. It's cool, bruh.
it
DJ.
seems like actually, I'm actually real quick. I'm sorry. I actually saw something because I'm still looking to see what the reasoning behind it was, but it looks like they're planning on starting a new um some sort of new business, Cultaholics Ventures Limited. I'm not sure what exactly it is. Making the same type of video, so I guess it's kind of a wrestling type thing. It's just their own company
Yeah.
instead. Creative, Sam being head of production, Adam Pacitti being managing director, and Ross being editor in chief. Not sure where Jack is, but and this is from Pro Wrestling Sheet, so it's I don't know. I think maybe they're planning on starting their own thing, or maybe it could have been a pay thing. You never know. Have you know, the stardom that they have? I think it's one of those things where you can kind of do what you're doing on your own
Yeah.
and keep all the money.
It's true. It's true. Moving on to DJ with his, our, your Top 5 botches / funny moments of the week.
All right. Well, let's get some laughs in or some botching, whichever one. The first one we got is Enzo, or I should say Neville, doing the Enzo dance. I mean, we could get Enzo doing the Neville dance, but I don't know exactly what that would be. I haven't seen the Neville dance specifically. I might have to check on Instagram. But this was definitely funny though. Neville attempting to do the Enzo dance, I guess you could say. Because you don't see Neville mock a lot of people in that way. So I just thought it was funny, kind of him kind of breaking out of his serious character a little bit, even though he was still relatively serious. But Casey, thoughts on Neville doing the Enzo dance?
It was definitely unique. I wasn't sure how to take it at first. It was he tried. He tried. Didn't work out too well, but he tried. Yeah.
He put in that attempt. Next, we got the video package from GFW this week, where Grado was in the Indies, courtesy of Park and Park, by the way. This was definitely a funny segment. Obviously, anything with Grado was usually funny. It was just funny with him, just Grado, being in the Indies, got to make that money. One of those things you really have to see. I'm sure it's on their YouTube channel. But also, if you haven't, be sure to check out my GFW review on Daily DDT as well. I still write those every single week. But Casey, thoughts on Grado? He was in the Indies, man. He was up in it. He was all up in the Indies.
You know he is. Actually, shout out to Amy, because she loves AIW. He was at AIW for that, so that was kind of cool. But I love this man making the money. I can't. It's great, especially with the fanny pack and all the money in it. I love Grado.
All right,
Grado.
To our next one. Grado. 3 of 5. Here we got the club. Colin Rollins and Ambrose. Nerds. I love when they call people nerds. It's fun. It's the greatest thing ever. I don't know if you ever called anybody a nerd, but you should, on like a daily basis. Unless they get too offended and be like, I'm sorry, I was just joking. The club do it, so I feel like I could do it. Don't cry. I got you a tissue. Nerd. So. But Casey, thoughts on the club, Colin Rollins and Ambrose? Nerds.
It's always funny when they call people nerds, but what I thought was hilarious was Rollins was like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. And then Ambrose is like, no one calls me a nerd. I love Rollins and Ambrose now. It's always something funny with them, and then with the club, definitely a funny segment.
All right, next we got Dustin Rhodes. He coming out here. He making this highly anticipated re-debut as Dustin Rhodes. But the man still had on his gold dust attire. Bruh. Like, they couldn't find this man some jeans or something? Some shorts? Some leggings? I mean, anything, bruh. They got this man out here in his gold dust attire. Like, bruh, they're supposed to be two separate people. What you doing? I don't even know how to feel about this. Casey, Dustin Rhodes as Goldust, as Dustin in the Goldust attire, I should say. As I botch the words.
See, my thing was just the logic of it. Like, if Dustin knew he was gonna go to Kurt Angle and ask for a match of just himself against Bray Wyatt, why would he put on the Goldust gear?
He's trapped in Goldust body. It's Dustin trapped in Goldust body, obviously. That's how it works.
I mean, bro, kayfabe dead. We know it's the same person. You ain't gotta try that.
Nah, bro, we don't know that.
It's the same person. We know that. But it was just weird. It was like, why would you put on the ring gear if you would just go into his office in some jeans and a t-shirt and be like, hey, can I have this match? You ain't got to get into, because it just looks weird. It looks weird without the face paint. It's like you forgot. It's just weird. Stop it. I don't know. I thought it was weird.
Alrighty. Moving on to our last and final top 5 funny moment of the week. GFW, I love you. I do. TNA, I love you. Rip. But anyway, GFW, they got the anthology, right? Because they're trying to, get people into GFW. And, like, if you don't know what GFW is, this is what we are, kind of introducing people kind of on their kind of one night only type of a thing. And they used the footage of Bobby Roode, which is fine. He was in the company, whatever. And I guess they updated the commentary, which was stupid within itself. But they updated the commentary and mentioned that he was a champion he was a champion for NXT and made the jump to GFW. I personally thought this was dumb too. Like I thought this was one that Casey came up with, but I thought it was really stupid too. I don't mind them showing, like, duh, if they're gonna do the anthology, of course they're gonna show what's there. Shouldn't have updated the commentary at all. That's the whole point of an anthology, isn't it? Like, isn't that the whole point of, like, going back and revisiting the past? Like, you don't see them playing old pay-per-views and being like, you know what? We're going to update this commentary to act like it's like right now. No, why would you do that? That's stupid. So, LOL GFW, again, hashtag prestigious. Casey, thoughts on GFW Amped? And Bobby Roode, he making the jump, bro. He on SmackDown, but, like, he making the jump to GFW.
Yeah, he taking that pay cut. He taking that pay cut. I just thought this was incredibly stupid. We always complain about WWE, insulting fans' intelligence. This is GFW going above and beyond insulting our intelligence when we know Bobby Roode is still in WWE and he did not make the jump. If he left WWE, there would be a huge news story and it would be all over. Bro, why would you even try that? Just keep the footage the way it was. You can do the anthology. I mean, it's fine, but why would you need to? Why would you think you would need to update commentary and try to make it seem like he came back? Really? Come on,
Shameful.
bro.
Shameful, GFW. Shameful.
Probably Jim Cornette's idea. Hate that man. Moving on, we got the top 5 instant classic moments of the week. First of all, we got Dustin Rhodes coming back. Just in general, I was definitely excited. I know DJ was too. I was hoping they would do like an actual run with him. I don't think they're going to, but that would have been cool because we've never really seen just a Dustin Rhodes run in WWE. We've seen it in other companies, but we haven't seen it in WWE. It's only been Goldust. So I think him would be a cool, at least one run, just him. But DJ?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was cool too. It's one of those things where, like, we're just not used to seeing Dustin Rhodes as Dustin Rhodes, and it's something different. And I like it too because it kind of, when you think about it, it kind of builds on a little bit of it. When you think about it, builds on Bray Wyatt's character, that he could take the it's kind of weird to say, but take the character out of the man and just make him like mortal. I don't know. It was just kind of cool. Like, I thought it kind of built up Bray Wyatt a little bit too, that he had to kind of be himself, I guess, like take himself out of character to face Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's that powerful or whatever, but they won't build on that because, bro. But I definitely liked it though. I thought it was cool. I would like to see a Dustin Rhodes run, but they won't do a Dustin Rhodes run. We already know.
True. And we got the Roman Reigns promo on Raw. I thought, at least for me, I thought the end was really good. Talking about how The Rock isn't going to be the only Samoan to beat John Cena. The ending was really cool. DJ?
Yeah, I definitely liked it too. I like them bringing back the John Cena footage. kind of bringing it back kind of full circle, I guess you could say. With back in 2012, John Cena calling out The Rock for being a movie star and being a part timer, and now John Cena's that guy. That's getting into movies and well, so it's definitely one of those situations. And I'm tired of saying that. I'm never gonna say that anymore because I feel like I said it at least 8 times in this video. But
you are
never again. They're gonna. But it's definitely one of those situations. But I just feel like I liked it. I just liked it. I don't know what it was about it, but I just liked it. I think they just got to give Roman Reigns a chance to cut a promo, and he can, or not script it as much. You can write out bullet points. You can say you need to say this, you need to say that. Other than that, do what you need to do. Because I think one thing about it is you're working on TV. You're a pro wrestler. You can talk. It's a fact.
And I think part of it was John Cena wasn't there to completely bury him right after he said something. I think that's been one of the biggest problems is they've had promos together where, and we've said this in the past, Roman Reigns says something good, John Cena comes back with something that just completely buries him, and it's like, what's the point? I get that they're all scripted, but what's the point of doing that? Anyway, we got Bayley's return, and DJ, would you say that this was one of those moments that was exciting? One of those times? You gonna say it? You gonna say it? I know it. You gonna.
I would say I'd have to. I don't even remember what my main line is. See, I forgot it already. I'm doing good, doing better already. But
let's do. I was trying to think of it.
Yes, I love the Bayley return. It was awesome. I just felt like she was. We haven't seen her in a while, and I think that's what helped, right? Like sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, and it's cliche, but still, like it's a thing, and sometimes, especially in wrestling, when you don't see somebody for a little bit, it helps. So,
yeah. Then we got the Braun Strowman Brock Lesnar video package. Definitely pretty cool. Definitely hyping up that match for tonight, actually. So I'm excited, even though Braun gonna lose because, yeah. DJ?
Yeah, I liked it as well. I almost said it again. I liked it as well.
You can say it. It's cool.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna refrain from saying it. But I like that it put Braun and Brock kind of on a similar pedestal where Braun is the kind of the new kid on the block. He's the new next big thing type of thing. Whereas Brock, that's what he came in as. He came in as this big monster, this beast, and obviously he still is. But things have changed. Things have changed, and Brock's the underdog. That's what I liked about it too, because rarely ever, like they said, do we see Brock kind of be the underdog. So I definitely liked it. I thought it was good. I'm excited for the match tonight.
Yeah. Then we got Kevin Owens via satellite in a room in the arena, pre-recorded a couple hours before that. But no, it was via satellite. Yeah. No, it was definitely via satellite. It wasn't just in a back room. Nah.
They keep. I don't understand why they don't just either take these guys to. It doesn't have to be their room. Legit, it could be in a hotel room, and people wouldn't necessarily even think that much about it. It's because of these generic backgrounds that they have that kills it. I feel like that's what kills these promos from a via satellite. He's light years away type of a thing. That's what kills these promos. I feel like, and they need to change that.
Yeah, that. Even back in the Attitude Era, or even early 2000s when they would do it, they would at least be in a living room or something to make it believable, not just in a generic room with just a generic background via satellite. We all know it's not via satellite. We all know it was pre-recorded in a back room of the arena.
Let's be honest,
bruh.
Why would he be via satellite anyway? Like with modern day technology, would you really have to be via satellite? Like realistically, though.
Why can't you just get on Google Plus?
Because they probably shut down the middle of it. And anyway,
go on to Skype, maybe Uvu. I don't know, something. There's other options. There's other options via the W network. I don't know, something. Moving on to DJ's favorite segment of the show.
Oh yeah, even though it technically it's not Friday, but some people gonna watch this on a Friday, so I'm keeping it the same. Overreaction Friday, reaction day. I don't know, but
usually we do this on Friday. That's what it is. Usually it's on Friday, but
see what happened. Well, anyway, we're gonna start off this one right here. Jinder Mahal is a racist, and he went too far, dang on it, too far in his Shinsuke Nakamura promo, where he made some racially charged jokes at Shinsuke Nakamura. This was too far. I remember somebody wrote an article about how far it was. And it kind of begs the question, is there even a too far in wrestling? Like, technically, when you think about it. I think this is an overreaction. Now, I think if we take out the Jinder Mahal as a racist and just say Jinder Mahal went too far, maybe it might be an easier question for people to answer. So that's where I'm going to kind of put it. Jinder Mahal went way too far in his promo on Shinsuke Nakamura. I still think it's an overreaction because I think there's a too far in wrestling, but I think as long as like you agree to it, like I think it's okay. And two, I feel like wrestlers don't mind you going a little bit farther if it's for the betterment of the business. Like Paige talking about Ric Flair's deceased son. Now that's too far. But this to me wasn't necessarily too far. If Jinder Mahal can come out and talk about how basically, no one cares about him because he's different based on his race or the way he talks, then what's the difference between him saying that and it being racially charged and him, saying Shinsuke Nakamura has the same face all the time, saying Shinsuke Nakamura is, I don't even remember the joke right offhand. Like, I just thought it was good to build heel heat, in my opinion. That's just me. Sorry. Not sorry. Casey, Jinder Mahal went way too far. Is there even a too far in wrestling, Casey?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a too far in wrestling. I think anytime you do a storyline around somebody who's deceased, or I think that's too far. Even if the family agrees to it, I think personally it's too far. But this, honestly, I watched it and I didn't think it was that bad, honestly. I mean, and we live in a society where, we watch comedy movies with racial stereotypes all the time and we laugh hysterically. But as soon as this comes on, everyone wants to be, a justice hero, whatever. And, this is blah, 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 blah. No, shut the hell up.
Yeah, I meant to point that out too. Like I was like it goes back to how fake wrestling is and how like it goes back to that, like, because I was gonna say, like, people watch these shows all the time and like you said, these movies and everything all the time that are like racially charged or like freaking like movies about slavery and stuff like that. Like they're racially charged, but is it too far? No.
Yeah, like, I mean, a comedian does like an impression of a Japanese person in a comedy act or in a movie, and we laugh hysterically. Oh, that's great. But as soon as Jinder Mahal makes a joke about how Shinsuke's face always looks the same, no, shut up, just shut up. No, it wasn't too far. I didn't even think it was really that bad in general. Overreaction. People are just
Yeah. Next one we got is every fan that comes up to a wrestler in public is a stalker. Don't stalk me. Don't you stalk me. Okay? That's like saying everybody that sees me on TV or everybody who's heard me on YouTube and says, hey, I heard you on TV, man. I saw you, bruh. I heard you on the YouTube, bruh. Like, why you stalking me? Like, bruh. Like, first off, it's a public space, Sasha Banks. It's a public space. Just because I see you and I'm like, oh my god, that's Sasha Banks. What's up, Sasha Banks? Like, bruh, you're people idolize you. Of course they're gonna be like if I saw my boy, I'm not even gonna say that after what I saw earlier today. I'm gonna leave that where it is. If I saw Phillip Rivers with the bolo tie, I'd be like, bro, what's up, Phillip Rivers? I like the bolo tie, man. I'm gonna give me one. Like, would he think I'm a stalker? No, we would be in a public space, and I'd be like, oh man, it's Phillip Rivers. So, but anyway, I definitely think this is an extreme overreaction. I think it can. I could see how it comes off disrespectful if a fan sees you in public and they're like, "Can you give me an autograph?" Like I can understand it to a certain degree, but realistically, I still don't even think that's that bad to be honest. That's just me. But Casey, every fan that comes up to a wrestler in public is a stalker, according to your girl Sasha Banks.
And I still love Sasha Banks. I do, but this is a huge overreaction. I mean, and personally, I've seen certain wrestlers in public, and there's certain situations where I will go up to them and ask for a picture and autograph. There's certain situations.
Hey, can I stalk you?
There's certain situations where I don't, where I'll draw a line. But I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, there's a bunch of people who have come out against this, saying I mean, Shane Douglas was one of them, and I forgot who said something about what you need to do is not worry about people coming up to you asking for autographs everywhere and pictures. What you need to worry about is the day that they don't do that, when they stop asking for pictures and stop coming after you and stop waiting for you at the hotel or the airport. That's when you have a problem. That's when they don't care anymore. I mean, and there definitely is a line. I think if you see somebody at the gym or something, like a wrestler at the gym, let them do their thing. Or if you see them out,
or like I think more so a line would be if if Sasha Banks walks into her hotel room and there's a fan standing there.
Okay, that would be like breaking and entering. I'm just saying.
I mean, that would be stalking. Like, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, there are lines, but people waiting, at a hotel or at airport, I don't think necessarily is stalking. They just.
Well, can you blame them? I mean, can you blame them? You're an idol to them. You're someone they look up to. You're someone they see on TV all the time, and you're like, and they got an opportunity to get an autograph, even if you say, because some people would ask, even if they know you're going to say no, just to see if they could get the autograph.
Yeah, I mean, and you're in public. It's not like, they're coming to your house. You're a public figure. You're out in public. Of course, they're going to ask you, hey, can I get a quick picture and an autograph? It's not like they're going to stop there and take like 2 hours of your time. It's a quick picture and autograph. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I don't know, personally. But she thinks it's, I don't know.
Just talking. Moving on. My next one is there will never be true competition to WWE ever again. Again, as Christopher Jericho would say. I think this is an overreaction. Simply because as much as people will write off GFW, TNA, NWA, World Championship Wrestling, I still think they have one of the best chances just because they've done it before. They've been close before. They've been, in a potential area before. So I definitely think there's a chance there if they can rebuild their American fan base, because they already have the international fan base to be, to continue to grow. So, but also you got these other companies like New Japan and even Ring of Honor, which Ring of Honor won't take a chance. So I don't think Ring of Honor will do it. But especially like New Japan, who's coming into the kind of American territory, American soil a little bit. And I think, like I said, and definitely a discussion I want to have at some point in a separate video, if you build wrestling back up like it was in the 80s, where it was predicated on wrestling and the storylines were secondary, but they still, they were still there, they were just secondary, then I feel like that's how you'll get people back into it. Because, and I might be tooting my own horn because this is my generation, right? I mean, this is kind of where I'm watching it right now. But like, this is some of the best wrestling we've seen when you realistically think about what we're seeing. And we're seeing some of the best wrestling we've ever seen in the independent scene, which isn't even technically the top, technically the tip of the iceberg. So, Casey, overall, I think it is a overreaction. There will never be true competition to WWE again.
See, and this is the part in the video where DJ and I disagree. I think
it's about time.
I think this is not an overreaction, because you have to think the key in general is the casual fan. And the casual fan knows WWE. And WWE, there's no company even close to the money that WWE has, the power that WWE has. I mean, and we've talked about this before. There was a time when TNA was, traveling and touring, where WWE would outbid for arenas just so that TNA couldn't have their shows there. If that doesn't show the power that WWE has and the money, I don't know what does. And I don't think any company is even close to the money that WWE has to be real competition for them. Wrestling wise, yeah. New Japan has amazing professional wrestling. Ring of Honor has amazing wrestling. All these companies have incredible wrestling. But at the end of the day, it's the casual fan you have to hook. And the casual fan doesn't know about all these indie promotions. They only know really about WWE and aren't really looking because they don't know what's there.
And two, the casual fan doesn't watch wrestling for wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is another overreaction Friday that I might do in the coming weeks. But it's true though. Like the casual fan doesn't watch wrestling for wrestling. They watch wrestling for storylines. They watch wrestling for craziness. They watch wrestling for something wild. That's why when you ask any casual fan what their favorite era was, which we'll get to in a second, they'll say the Attitude Era because it was wild and crazy. But two, and you'll say, well, what did you like about it? They'll talk about Stone Cold. They'll talk about The Rock, and not necessarily for the matches.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to say it's not necessarily an overreaction.
All right. Speaking of the Attitude Era, my next one is the Attitude Era is the greatest era of all time. And I'm talking, you got your peaks like, you got the 80s if you like the 80s. You got now if you want to pick now. I would say this is an overreaction, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's an overreaction. I like the Attitude Era. I love the Attitude Era. I thought it was great. It was amazing. But I think personally for me, and it's probably my age, I remember more from the Ruthless Aggression Era than I do the Attitude Era. And the Ruthless Aggression Era was close to the Attitude Era. It wasn't the exact same as what the Attitude Era was, but it was definitely closer than it was after the Ruthless Aggression Era. So I would say personally to me, I like the Ruthless Aggression Era more than I liked the Attitude Era. Just personally. Casey, the Attitude Era is the greatest era of all time. Overreaction or not overreaction?
I'm going to say, and I love the Attitude Era. For nostalgic purposes, I love the Attitude Era. But I'm gonna say overreaction because
Shocked. Hashtag shocked.
I don't think there ever is a greatest era ever. Just because let's talk about the Attitude Era, for example, in general. A lot of that stuff, watching it back, it was great at the time, but a lot of it hasn't held up over time. You know, you watch some of that stuff back and it's like, they really did that? What? That's stupid. That's ridiculous. And just the evolution of professional wrestling, things get old so quickly that I don't know if there really is a best era ever I mean, for nostalgia purposes, obviously, you know, there's certain people who love the Attitude Era. There's certain people who love the 80s or the 70s or whatever. But I don't think necessarily there's there's a best era ever. So I'm gonna say overreaction.
All right. Moving on, last one in Overreaction Friday before we get to the weekly booking challenge. Everyone is leaving GFW. They're going out of business again. Oh my God, GFW is going out of business again. This is that hyperbole, formerly known as extreme overreaction. Stop it. Just please. You've been saying the GFW is going out of business for 17 years. They've only been around 16. So, like, let's be honest. You guys are wrong. Quit tripping. Y'all is tripping. But for real though, like I said, I feel like GFW is putting on good weekly shows. They're putting on better weekly shows than Raw and SmackDown, and I think that's funny because every time someone tells me, they're like, GFW is so terrible, and I'm like, they put on better weekly shows than Raw and SmackDown, and it's not even nearly as good as it was last year, in my opinion. So, like, if they're still putting on better shows than Raw and SmackDown weekly on a consistent basis, then you would probably like it if you actually watched it, because you watch Raw and SmackDown and you don't complain nearly as much as you complain about GFW. But you know, so I think this is definitely an overreaction. People needed to quit tripping about GFW. They out their mind. Which technically, I guess GFW might go out of business because it's prestigious and all. But if Jeff Jarrett leaves, as has been the reports, then obviously GFW will be no more. Their space, so you never know. But as far as the original company, TNA, Total Nonstop Action, which is what I'm going to call it for the rest of its life, this is definitely an overreaction. That's not going out of business. It probably, I hate to say it, never will, but the NWA is still going, and they kind of suck. So, Casey, GFW is going out of business, man. Everybody leaving, bro. There ain't no Jim Cornette gone. Man, they ain't got Low Key no more, bro. Low the Beast Key. He ain't there no more, man. The Knockouts division, man, they a little slim. It ain't as consistent as it was anymore, man. They going out of business, man. Going out of business.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a slight overreaction, just a slight one, just because. Yeah, the weekly show is always great. But I think the problem is, and we've said this before, is the business side of it, the backstage, the main office side of it. And I think
Casey, let's go ahead and buy GFW and do what we need to do with it.
Okay, to do that. I think like what, $5? $5.
Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast.
Yes. I think we should do it. I think we should. We gonna start a GoFundMe to buy TNA. But I think I feel like personally, the problems they've been having recently have been coming more and more often. Like, it was just not even a year ago, or about a year ago, that they were almost, didn't have enough money to put on Bound for Glory. And then Owl Championship Wrestling came in to save the day. And then all of a sudden they want to leave. And then Cornette's leaving. And it feels like the problems that they're having are coming more and more often now. Whereas, I mean, there was always problems from the time that, TNA started. But I don't think it was as often of problems. I think at least personally to me.
But then they had, as much as people hate to admit it, they had a strong leader. They had a strong figurehead who wasn't going to give up on the company.
Yeah.
So at least, even though there was people coming in and out, she still had something that she needed to do. She still was going to stick with this company no matter how great or how bad it got.
But then also,
but anyway,
her family didn't like all the money she was wasting on, or they thought she was wasting on the company, because it was her family's company that was basically financing TNA.
Yeah.
I don't know. But moving on to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast weekly booking challenge. If somebody would change the side, there we go. This,
give me a second. Dang, I mean, I'm trying to let you say it.
It's hard to find good help these days. It really is, So, I mean, Adam, if you want to come, Adam Bompier, Pachiti, you want to come? We'll take you. Replace DJ. That's fine. That's fine. This week we are booking, or we are.
Sometimes we can't get good microphones. You tool. Why don't you quit moving your computer? You sound like you're blowing into your microphone. Stop it.
I mean, at least my microphone works on.
You sound like my microphone does work all the time. Just because it didn't work before, don't mean it didn't.
No, it don't.
Don't now. Shut up.
I think you need the old one that makes you sound like you down a hall. Anyway, this week we are booking the vacant NXT Women's Championship. Basically, how we would book it to the next champion. So
we're gonna create a new championship, right?
No, that's not even close to what we do.
I thought you meant we was gonna we're gonna put, and might put a pink strap on that mug, put some gold on the and then we put NXT and spray paint on it. That ain't what you meant?
Butterfly? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna bring back the title.
Anyway, no, that's not what we're doing. But we're gonna book the NXT Championship vacancy to get a new champion. I guess. Anyway,
how are we gonna do that if we don't make a new title? Gosh, this man don't understand.
It's the same title. It's just vacant right now. We gotta give a new. This man just trying to make.
That's what I'm saying. It's vacant, so there ain't no title right there. So we gotta put one.
There is a title, just nobody has it right now. There is a physical title, just nobody has it right now. This man is just trying to make things all type of hard and difficult. It don't need to be that way. It don't need to be that way. It need to be simple and smooth and crisp with no botches. Anyway, first of all, for me personally, I would not send Shayna to SmackDown Live right away, which is apparently what they would do when she gets signed, or if she gets signed. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would hold a NXT Women's Championship tournament for the vacant NXT Women's Championship, in which Shayna would be a surprise entrance, or win the tournament and the title in the finals against Kairi Sane at TakeOver Houston or whatever. I think that's the next one. Then I would have Kairi win the title from Shayna at the following TakeOver, which I think is in Philly. Then maybe have Shayna win it back again between TakeOvers for another short run until dropping it to go to SmackDown Live. That's what I would do, because I think, give Shayna a win there after she was supposed to win the Mae Young Classic, but I think definitely that would kind of be a good run there between the two. Obviously, Kairi is the new kind of face of NXT that they want right now, but I think those two having a little feud for the title for a while would definitely be a cool thing. DJ?
Yeah, I definitely I like your idea. I do. And I thought about a tournament because I do like tournaments, and I think tournaments are a great way of crowning a champion and not battle royals, which is why I didn't put a battle royal because I can't stand when a battle royal crowns a champion unless it's the Royal Rumble. I will give the Royal Rumble a little bit more of a pass because it is prestigious and not GFW prestigious. Anyway,
Why are we leaning on GFW?
I'm sorry, I can't help it. But I would have a fatal four way that takes place at Hell in a Cell. I would say No Mercy, but like I'm assuming that we starting today. So I would do it at Hell in a Cell or do it at Survivor Series, even though I feel like that. The only reason I'm doing it at Hell in a Cell because I want to do it as soon as possible. Because I don't want to wait all the way to Survivor Series. I would love this would be a great way to showcase the NXT women, but I don't think you should wait that long to have a champion, in my opinion. And plus, they might have a takeover during that weekend. So I was like, this will be a good chance to show them off to the main roster fans. You know, kind of show off what these women can do. I would do a fatal four way. I would do Kairi Sane because she won the Mae Young Classic, and the top three other women's wrestlers in NXT right now: Ember Moon, Ruby Riott, and Nikki Cross in a fatal four way match. Simply because I feel like Moon, Riott, and Cross are the top women right now, so it makes sense that they would kind of be the three at the top, kind of trying to contend. And Kairi Sane gets in because she won the Mae Young Classic. I feel like Ruby Riott, either Ruby Riott or Ember Moon takes out Kairi Sane, causing them to have a feud, and also it's going to end up costing her the Fatal Four Way. And I feel like I would give the title to Nikki Cross. I think she's the most ready right now, in my opinion. And have Ember Moon feud with Kairi Sane or Ruby Riott, one of the two, Ruby Riott and Sane, or Ember Moon and Sane. Either one would be fine, and kind of have that go on. And then eventually Kairi Sane would win the title, but I kind of want to give Sanity a little bit of a rub too, because they really haven't had one as far as titles are concerned. So
They got the
like,
NXT tag team titles though.
that's what I'm saying. They getting the rub, and now they're gonna be like. Plus, you never see factions like take over like that with titles. So,
Bro, I mean, you saw NWO do that.
bro, you know how long that's been? like really though.
And 75% of WCW was NWO at that time, so kind of doesn't count. Anyway,
Say they cheated.
yeah, you know, a little bit of a cheat, a little bit, like tiny bit of cheat, you know, a little bit. I think next week we are going to, and I had this idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. And if you think it's not a good idea, you can leave because all my good ideas are good ideas, and my bad ideas are still good ideas.
All right, I see you, bro. I'm out. I'm out.
All right, peace. We are going to book a wrestler from one promotion to another. So you can take somebody that maybe you don't think is being used well in WWE and how you would book them to go to TNA, New Japan, whatever, and kind of start a little bit of a storyline for them there. I think that's something interesting, and I haven't seen anybody really do that before. So that'll be next week's weekly challenge of the bookings. Moving
Speaking
on.
of next week,
Oh, see what we did there? We worked it. Yeah.
do you see that the weekly booking challenge is right there behind? Do you know? Have you noticed? Do you see that? It's weird. Look at that. It's weird.
What?
Like behind it, you can see the words CWP Weekly Challenge.
Oh my! I can. What is that's what?
Weird, and it's not even behind it. Like
It's
not even behind it.
that's so weird. I can't. What?
It's crazy. It's kind of cool though. I kind of like it. Anyway, next week's hype, bro. Courtesy of me. We got a potential Lio Rush sighting. We're definitely excited since like last week we talked about how the Velveteen Dream attacked Lio Rush as he was going into a match with Aleister Black, and now we're really seeing the Aleister Black Velveteen Dream feud play out. So that could be a potential next week thing that we see Lio Rush, and a potential Velveteen Dream versus Lio Rush or something like that in the near future as well. Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, their entire rivalry, to see how that's going to play out coming into the next week. And also, lastly, coming up tonight, we're excited. It's definitely a big card. I think there's a lot of really good marquee matches that could be really good in the show. So I'm definitely excited for No Mercy. Any thoughts on next week's hype, bro?
Bro, definitely curious about the whole Velveteen Dream Aleister Black storyline that they sort of started last week. I'm really excited for the eventual, and I think it should be either this coming week or maybe next week, because I know they did the recording of it, and I don't know, I forgot how much in advance they do NXT tapings, but for Lio Rush, along with a bunch of other guys that WWE has signed, like Gunner. Where Gunner at though? Where he at? I see him on the Instagram posts at NXT Live event. Where he at though? Where? But yeah, there's a bunch of guys that they've signed recently that we're just waiting for their debuts. A couple returns too that are coming. So that's definitely exciting in general for NXT in the coming weeks and months. And then No Mercy, definitely excited. Hesitantly excited, I would say, just because we know with WWE they can either make a really good show out of a really good card or have a really good card and drop the ball with it. You know, we've seen that before. So I'm going to go in with an open mind. Hopefully, you know, they hit it out of the park with this one. But there's a chance that, you know, they drop the ball. Because they sometimes they fumble. Sometimes they fumble. Yeah. That was your Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. Episode 7. Episode 7. Definitely excited for this coming week in the wrestlings. It's behind there too. Why is it still behind there?
Yeah.
What?
Weird.
What? Why is it doing that? Anyway, I don't know. Either XSplit or Google Plus being weird. But we'll see you next week for episode 8 of the Instant. We not going to news and rumors. What are you doing?
I made it disappear though. Did you see that?
Oh, I was gonna say we ain't ready for that. We ain't ready. Next week
we go into news and rumors for next week.
Excited for No Mercy tonight. We'll have the review out a little bit later tonight, and then we got NFL picks, and the week is just crazy this week with our picks didn't turn out the way that we planned, and bruh,
nope.
We should have just picked the opposite of all the games that we wanted. Like, I'm just saying. And we got obviously NXT, TNA, and all that other stuff that we do. Anyway, like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter at ICW_podcast, and we will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.